This video is brought to you by Craven's Comic Books and Collectibles. Check out their weekly live show, auction, and sale at facebook.com/Craven's Comics every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. And you can check out their inventory at cravenscomics.com. Craven's Comics, for the comics you crave. Welcome to the program, Stephanie Williams.
Hey.
How's it going?
It is going really well, especially since I've watched WandaVision. So
yeah, no, I had a feeling. I feel you would be pretty excited. I was excited as well. Monica Rambeau really gets to glow up here, gets to shine in a way.
So good today. So good.
Yeah. That's I got to say it's fun starting my Friday mornings off before I actually have to do work by watching WandaVision. I'm guessing it's the same for you.
It's the same, but unfortunately today I got a late start out of all the weeks, a late start to watching the episode. And I'm just like, wow, of course this would be the one that I don't see until later.
Yeah, of course. Definitely. So I want to get into, of course, your amazing mashups of pop culture that you do through your webcomics, But What If Though? And of course, the Living Heroes comic. Before I do, we got an email in from my co-host from my other podcast, Back Issue Bloodbath, Petula Neal. And she writes in, "Hi, Stephanie, love Living Heroes. I have a playlist called I'm an Old Black Lady that features jams from Anita Baker, A.I. Be Sure, and Chico DeBarge, to name a few. If you were to have a Disney Plus show made out of Living Heroes and went full Degentic sound," I can't read, what are some tunes you would be playing in the apartment?
Oh, it would be a mix-up. It would be a mashup of old 90s R&B and current, some of the current R&B that is, I know folks say that it doesn't exist, but it's there. You just got to listen to the right folks. So there would be a lot of Van Jess, there'd be a lot of Janet Jackson, there'd be a lot of Chloe and Holly, of course, Beyonce, there'd be a lot of Jagged Edge, 112. It would just be a mashup of old and new, because essentially that is what Living Heroes is, a mashup of old and new.
No, definitely. Petula finishes off here with a message just saying hi and virtual hugs with a side of ribs to Mr. Green and Andrew. Well, thank you, Petula. We actually got another email that came in from Jake E. that says, "Hey geeks, just writing in early since I have to work tonight. My review of Flora and Ulysses, an okay film for kids, of course, cute, but sometimes boring. Not bad acting, but somewhat amateurish. I would rate it a 6, not to see in theaters. Thanks, geeks." Well, thanks, Jake. You'll find out our review later on in the program. But you were mentioning before about the mashup of old and new, and I got to say the webcomic But What If Though, that is a lot of fun. And I remember you explaining during the Living Heroes Kickstarter that it's your version of what if they gave you money to do an Adult Swim show, that's what it would be. So tell us a little bit about how that webcomic came to be.
So I've always been a fan of Wizard magazine. Well, of course, I hope you all remember it, but Wizard magazine used to have something that was similar to what we see in Robot Chicken, where they would take the figurines and would tell these little funny stories. That's just something that always appealed to me. So I don't know, like the moment I decided to start making webcomics, I'm like, this is the cheapest way I can kind of do this. So let me have at it. I was always tweeting, just random things. Like, what if the Hulk, I don't know, accidentally flushed a condom down the toilet and then we got the Ninja Turtles, like just outlandish stuff like that. And it was just really fun to bring those things to life. So Living Heroes was something that was just supposed to be a one-off. I was watching Living Single while reading Marvel comics. I'm often watching TV and reading comics at the same time. That's where a lot of these hybrid ideas come from. And I thought to myself, well, if Jean Grey died again, where would Misty Knight move to? And then it just came to me like, yeah, so Storm would be in New York. Monica's there for whatever reason. We'll just bring her up, and like She-Hulk's already there, and she could just play Maxine, and it was just so obvious, and it just made so much sense. And I just couldn't believe that those three women specifically, Misty Knight, Storm, and Monica, had not yet been in anything together yet. Misty and Storm have in the past, in the what was it, the Crew, but we haven't gotten them together, and I just always find that odd when we don't get a lot of Black superheroines together, because I feel like they would hang out. Like I feel like Vixen would hang out with Selena on the sly or something when she visits Gotham, or I don't know who would invite what is, oh my God, I am blanking on the Wall, Amanda Waller. I don't know who would invite her to a sleepover, but you get the gist, right?
Amanda Waller would be very lonely alone. People don't trust Amanda Waller. Yeah.
No. But the point is that I love examples of Black sisterhood, and I feel like they would exist. They would definitely exist in these universes where you have these, these people fighting against beings like Galactus. Like friendship and support is important, and that was just something that I wanted to bring to life.
Yeah, no,
totally. Yeah.
As I was reading the book, I was like reading all the little short stories and like and how they interact with each other, and just like this world, and all I kept on thinking about is I want more of this, whether it's in book or if it's an animated series or like live action. I don't care. Like it was so much fun to read, because you, like, as you were just talking about that kind of camaraderie and friendship between all of the women, and seeing how fun it was, but also like the sly little references and jokes, about the other characters that are around was brilliant. Like, so when you were working on it, was, like as you mentioned, your process, like it's a lot of reading comics and watching TV, and these ideas come to you. Was there things that developed as you were doing it afterwards, and things that you've missed out on that you wish you could bring back in? Like if you do it again?
Absolutely. So, of course, I want to take more jabs at Charles Xavier, because if anybody follows me on Twitter, they know that it is my personal mission to make sure that everyone knows that he is absolutely the worst. I wish that I could have brought in more side characters that I've loved throughout the years that just haven't gotten a shine they deserve in comics, because it was so important to me to bring in Wyatt Wingfoot and Yukio and Forge, and even Sam Wilson to a degree, because I don't know, like I've always felt like he had some himbo energy. He always reminded me of an Overton, and I don't know, like I just wish that we would get that depiction of him in comics, because he's just so straight-laced, and his earlier introductions in Captain America and the Falcon, it's just very, hi, I'm Steve's Black friend, but we know that it's more than that, right? And I wanted to bring that side of Sam out that I felt has always existed among the pages. And things that I wish I would have done, I wish I would have brought in more X-Men. I wanted to do a story, and I'm probably still going to do it, where they go on a cruise, and it's Strong Guys cruise, like something similar to the Tom Joyner Morning Show cruise. I feel like Strong Guy, it would be fun if he had something like that, like a cruise ship, a Krakoan cruise ship or whatever, and the ladies go and they do a little vacation.
Yeah, no, totally. Now, we got an email in from Josh M, who says, Stephanie is the queen of memes. I love them. Big fan. Oh, yeah. And so is it the memes, or is it the videos that Twitter has a problem with?
It's the videos. They got me for the music. Yeah. So like the little voiceovers and stuff I do, those are fine, but it's the music. And I'm just like, hey, this is actually probably helping the artist. Like I'm not making any money from this. I want people to download this music or check out this old R&B song that I enjoy. So just really get interested in the thing like that I've spliced. So Justice League, or Justice League Unlimited, and X-Men, the original animated series. Like I just want to bring kind of like highlight these things that I've loved, and give people a reason to also love them through the ways that I've enjoyed them.
No, definitely. And like the love in basically all your work, the love of fandom is there. And with Living Heroes, like that's no exception. But I also love the fact that it does take pot shots at the business, not real pot shots, just making commentary about the business. Like the comment about hey, you want some backup? It's like, No, it's not February and Blade's not in town, so we can't have more than 2 black characters in a book. Stuff like that was just hilarious. What I really loved as well, though, was the whole the crew has to get together because there's some sort of vampire or supernatural force. And Brother Voodoo, when he shows up, feels very much like he's like, yeah, I got to round you all up. Like it's kind of his body language, the way O'Neill Jones draws him is very much like I know, let's get out there.
O'Neill, I don't think Living Heroes would have worked the way that it has without her art. Like she tells me that I'm funny, but I'm like, no, you are funny through your art because you just do such a great job of depicting the physical cues needed to land these jokes. And I just feel like they would have fell flat if I would have had another artist do it. We just have like this synergy that just works so well. And I'm always excited when I can bug her and say, hey, can you squeeze me into your tight schedule real quick? Because I have an idea and you're the only person I know that can execute it.
Right. Yeah. And with the recent week, the one of Selena Kyle and Vixen there at the wig shop, that was really good too.
Yeah. Like I was looking at it in the art, it was one of the things about the book, like it's your writing is the, obviously a big part of it, but also to your point is like the those little facial expressions really sold like the small moments. Like there's some moments where I'm looking in the panel and like there's a joke in in your work, like you're actually written the joke, but then there's like a little like look or something off to the side by a character that it didn't just on top of that. It totally, that's why I say I want more. I just want more. I want it all the time.
No, it's like with when we talked about it on Back Issue Bloodbath, the thing that Petula pointed out was the amount of jokes per page is just like it's off the charts. You guys pack in so much funny to this book. But it also brings up a question that I got to ask, because when I read it in there, I thought it was funny, but at the same time I went, people really do that? Who is putting olives and raisins in their potato salad? That is a crime.
White people are unfortunately doing it. It was actually a meme. Oh, not a meme. Well, it has became a meme, but it's from someone's potluck, and there were like raisins in the potato salad. And I said, well, that is unfortunate, but maybe Jessica Jones could possibly be the person to do that. So let's go ahead and make that joke.
It made perfect sense to me.
Yeah, I definitely don't see Jessica being great in the culinary arts, so that makes sense. Definitely.
I love Jessica too, and I think the reason for, and because I do love her, I'm just like, yeah, that's something you would do. It's okay though.
Well, honestly, I read it and I was like going, well, this has to be in a comic somewhere, because this just feels so right for her to be so bad at this.
Like just bring the red cups, don't bring anything else.
Right.
Jessica.
Yeah.
Oh, when I read that line, I was dying, because I've know some people in my life, and that's what people, like we all say that it's like, no, just cup or just bring buns, bag of chips.
Right.
You bring the prepackaged thing. Don't try to be creative.
Oh man, yeah, no. But of course, getting to write the Marvel heroes in this fun parody is one thing, but now you're getting to write Marvel heroes and bring your brand of comedy into actual Marvel comics with Marvel's Legacy #1. You're telling a 2-page story about Monica Rambeau at the supermarket with her mom.
Yeah. And that story came about because originally I was freaking out, right? I'm like, oh, wait, so Marvel actually really wants me to do a thing. So what am I going to do? And I don't know, like, I should have, at the beginning, like, I should have been like, you just do what you've been doing. That's why they contact you. But I don't know, like, you get the official tap and it's kind of like, well, maybe I should do something different. But when I settled down, I remember like, hey, they contacted you for a reason. It's because they love what you've done with Parenthood Activate and But What If Though and Living Heroes. So bring that energy. And then actually Sarah, one of the editors, was like, yeah, so we want that. So just go ahead and, give us that in the story. So when I read that over again, I said, okay, I'm going to do it. And I kid you not, like 2 hours later, I had the story just set and ready to go. I thought to myself, what is something that is extremely relatable? It would be fun to see, you know, superheroes kind of do. And it was going to the store with your mom to run an errand, an important errand, but to run an errand. And I was able to fit in 2 other Avengers or past Avengers with her, Thor and She-Hulk, because why not? Like, I was like, hey, I only have 2 pages. What else can you give me? Because I want to make like, if this is the only thing I ever write for you all, I want to make sure that I leave a lasting impact in this one story. So give me those 2 characters if I can use them.
Right. Yeah. No, it's kind of like a mini reunion of the 80s Avengers team there.
Exactly. And when when I explained to them why I wanted to use them for that reason, they were like, "Oh yeah, you go ahead and you do that."
I'm just wondering, Steffi, if you could talk about what it was like to get that tap, you know, like to, you know, as somebody who is such a big fan and a lover of the comics and, you know, these characters, especially Monica, you know, to get a tap and be like, yeah, we're gonna let you, you know, come in here and you're gonna write these characters now, like that must have been a bit overwhelming, I would think.
It absolutely was. I was actually in my car when I got the email. I was parked, thankfully, because one, you shouldn't be you shouldn't be checking things and driving, but I was parked. And when I originally got the email, I thought it was from one of the editors from the editorial side of Marvel, because I had been writing some things for them. They just hadn't posted yet. So I'm thinking, okay, because the title says like, you want to write for Marvel? And I'm thinking, well, okay, what are you guys pitching? What would you like me to cover? And then I continue to read the email and it dawns on me like, no, they're asking you to write a comic story. So I think I dropped my phone. And of course I had to find it because it fell in between the seats. And once I get my phone back in my hand, my mouth was just agape, because never in my wildest dreams could I imagine. Because like when I made Living Heroes or just all the web comics or whatever, it's was never with the intent of, hey, Marvel will give you a call, DC Image will give you a call. It was just simply, I wanted to make the thing because I thought it was funny and I wanted it out into the world. So it was actually like really surreal to have that recognized, and have it recognized by them, especially Living Heroes, because again, like I put so much love into that. So to have that love recognized by, you know, the original, where they're actually from, just meant so much, and just kind of told me like, hey, you know, the Kickstarter was already an indication that you're on the right path, but this just kind of shows that there are other folks watching and folks who can open those doors that, you know, I do want access to. So it was just a really surreal experience. It's still surreal. I still wake up sometimes. I'm just like, wow, I wrote a story about Monica Rambeau and her mom, She-Hulk and Thor, and it is in an actual Marvel comic, like one that I can purchase.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
and
amazing.
talk about the timing too, right?
Oh,
Like,
and you know, the funny thing, so they told me I could pick whoever, right?
sure.
Immediately, it was Monica. Not, and it wasn't me even remembering that she was going to be in WandaVision, because I didn't even know like how big her role was going to be. It was just a lot of unknown. So I just picked Monica because like I just love Monica and I wanted to write Monica. So it just so happened that not only is she in WandaVision, but she's just been so integral to the show. And I was like what? Like I know Mercury is always in retrograde, but I must have not been in retrograde that day, because I'm like, what synergy? I mean, I couldn't have never predicted that. And then I just a piece I wrote for Marvel about Monica's comic history and her name changes, that just came out, and I'm just like, who knew I would be the Monica Rambeau hub? It was like really mind blowing. Because like it's this character that had such a very strong introduction into the Marvel comics and had a pretty powerful history for a while, until she lost her powers, gets them back in the Dwayne McDuffie one shot, and then is, you know, kind of on the teams, but not really. And then she changes her name to Photon, then goes by Pulsar, and weird stuff happens when she gets into Next Wave, which I've had some grumblings about that lately, but I do still recommend folks read it just after you've read all the other Monica Rambeau stuff. And she's had that. She's appeared again in the Mighty Avengers and Captain America and the Avengers. So like she's, I don't know, like had this weird thing where her impact has kind of lessened over the years, even though she came in strong. And sometimes you see the reverse where a character's impact is not that strong, and then over the years it gets stronger. I think of Carol Danvers in that regard, because she played a role in the Avengers, but I would say that her comics history is stronger on the back end than it was in the beginning. So I don't know, like it's just I want more Monica Rambeau, like a Monica Rambeau solo series. We have not gotten that. I don't know why. Because this is clearly a character that can stand on her own. I mean, I feel like she wouldn't have led the Avengers if that wasn't the case. Like, there's just so much history. She's from New Orleans. Like, there's just so much history that can be dug into with her. The fact that she loves the sea and that she loves being on someone's yacht, as I put in Living Heroes. So I just want more for the character, but I'm so happy that she's gotten the introduction she has to a broader audience, because not everyone is reading comics, and that's okay. But we've gotten this really strong depiction of Monica Rambeau, WandaVision. I'm just like, wow, what if the X-Men movies would have did this with Storm? Like, what if they would have treated Storm in the way that they've treated Monica Rambeau and WandaVision? Like, so many great things could have been.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
hell,
totally.
they would have did that for Jean. If they would have did that for any of the X-Men, actually. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody
that's
really.
another podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody really did a great job on telling too many of the X-Men stories in those films. Definitely not.
I just want to say that right now, just before you go on, Andrew, I just like you write this. We need to clip this and send this to Marvel to prove why Stephanie needs to write, the Monica Rambeau, like, because now it's like the iron's hot. Give her a series.
Yeah, exactly. And I would say, well, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and now that they have the Alien franchise, they can use those and that for the comics or whatever. Like, Aliens is like the next thing that I'm obsessed with, and I'm just like, so what if I was able to do Monica Rambeau and Xenomorphs at the same time? I would listen. I may or may have not already have written a pitch for that very exact thing. I even have a backup if I can't use aliens. Like, the Marvel universe is full of just weird gleek globs, so I'll figure it out. I think there's one called Phlegm, whatever. I think that's from like Silver Surfer and Galactus. So I have the story ideas. There. I'm sitting and waiting. Hell, I'll introduce Strong Guy's Krakoan Cruise if they give me the opportunity to.
There you go. That'd be awesome. But yeah, just the one thing I'd say with Monica Rambeau, I'd say she's now kind of surpassed code names. I think she should just always just go with Monica Rambeau. Definitely. She's like her and Kitty Pryde are just like, they don't need code names. They are who they are.
And I think that's really powerful. Yeah. I really do. And in this piece that I've been struggling to write all day, and I'm almost done. And also in the one for Marvel, like I say, like, does it suck that her name has changed multiple times? Absolutely. But it is never taken away from who that character is. So I'm perfectly okay. And that's why I often just refer to her now as Monica Rambeau, because if there can only be one, she is Highlander.
Yeah, exactly. She is the Highlander, definitely. Yeah, no, because writers have screwed her over on code names so many times now, taken away her names in the dumbest ways. So yeah, no, it's crazy. I actually realized today that the first Avengers comic I read when I was 4 years old was Avengers 231, where Monica Rambeau actually saves Nick Fury and the President.
Yeah, so, right?
Yeah. Oh man, but of course, now that's the other thing. You mentioned it throughout this, that not only are you writing comics for Marvel, but now you're also writing op-ed pieces for Marvel.com as well. So has that been a long thing happening in the works?
It has been. There is actually a piece that I wrote on my fave to hate. And I was actually surprised that they asked me to write it and they let me write it the way that I did. And I'm just like, okay. So hopefully that eventually sees the light of day. I've been told that it will sometime this year, and I'm ready to break the internet with that.
So this is Professor X. Is that the one? Yeah.
Yes. And I like did a whole dissertation, and I wrote so much. The editor is like, hey, so we might end up making a part 2. And I'm like, okay, because I have enough ammunition for at least 4 parts.
Yeah, no, I would say so. Because, like, yeah, you just take any period of X-Men history and you just look at what Professor Xavier's doing, and it's like, yeah, no, that's not good for any of the X-Men right now.
I'm like, even in the current X-Men books, which I love, I'm like, thank you for still making him quite shitty, because he is in the way that he dangles Destiny in front of Mystique's face to get her to do, like, bringing Destiny back in order to get Mystique to do what he wants. So I'm like, yeah, you're still terrible.
Yeah, I feel
all
like
right.
Hickman and crew have kind of they're owning the fact that Xavier is a piece of shit.
I love it.
Oh man. Well, Stephanie, we could probably go on for hours talking about comics. We definitely could, but I know you got to get back to work, and we actually we got to review a film in just a little bit. So it's been great talking with you tonight, and we definitely love to have you back on again sometime.
Yeah, please. My schedule, I will make time in my schedule for you all. So I appreciate you extending your platform to me, and just thank you so much.
Awesome. And people can get a copy of Living Heroes at Ko-fi.com/Steph Williams, correct?
They sure can.
Awesome.
I think there are about 40 copies, but they might go soon. So if you're interested, just go ahead and go over there, because they could be gone over the weekend. Who knows? Sometimes I have like these bursts, and I'm like, oh crap, I'm out of comics.
If you like Living Single and you like Marvel heroes, this is like the mashup for you, definitely. Oh man. Well, thanks again, Steph. Have yourself a great night.
You too. Thank you guys.